So, it looks like the store is all locked in. Let's get back to work. Any questions before we leave? Yeah.
Yes. So, while all that is happening, where is Naminé?
Fuck!
There. No one would ever notice. If you say so, sir.
Missable cutscene! Why is this the only missable cutscene in the entire series? The only other canon scene I can think of that can be missed is after the Sephiroth fight in 2, but that was more bonus content that was locked behind a special boss. This is... So obviously the main problem here is that she wasn't in the game a whole lot, which I guess she didn't need to be. The main goal involving her is Kairi and Sora's resolve to bring both her and Roxas back, but that plot point was almost immediately dropped as soon as it was brought up. So of course it feels empty when we only see her wake up at the very end. And I could get angry about Nomura not following his own rules of there needs to be a connection to spark the return of Roxas and Naminé just as soon as he made them. But that's not new behavior, so I'm just gonna steam about it quietly in the corner. Out of all the characters that have made mistakes, Naminé seems to be exclusively punished for a situation that she was forced into. She talks like she's guilty and willingly joined the organization. But that's her character. She's a bit unreliable as a narrator. The more she gets down on herself, the more you're supposed to say, no, it's not your fault, and then cuddle her until all those feelings are just smothered. But the story has forgotten about this because Nomura has forgotten about Naminé. So much so that she even has to comment on it herself.
He's the one they all miss. It's not me.
Isn't it so ironic how the emphasis is on Shion being remembered, but she's the one who's gotten the most attention? From Papa Nomura-san? What a cruel father. In Chain of Memories, Sora forgives her, of course, because he's Sora, but also because it's the correct thing to do. It's still a bad situation, no doubt, but one where no one is actually at fault, and everyone got hurt in the process. The narrative knew that then, so why doesn't it now? Why does she go from one abusive household to another, getting constantly browbeaten by everyone, even herself, with no one ever forgiving her or telling her that she doesn't actually need to be forgiven, or thanking her, which Sora should have just thanked her here so we could be done with it. They even had a second chance to do a thank you Naminé scene in the final mixed version. But instead, they just decided to add more talking about it. Which, by the way, I hope that this scene is no longer canon because that makes way too much beating around the bush and not enough actual payoff. Why do the events of Chain of Memories need to be dug out of their grave? It's also weird that they brought back what seemed to be the only dead character in the series just so they could permanently kill him again. But now with all the nothing that canon has given us, why aren't you all filling the silence? You all aren't talking about Naminé enough! Here's a thought, if you want to explore something with Naminé, why not explore the reason as to why, from her unreliable perspective, she decided to do bad things. Why she said she was alone for so long, and that loneliness was what drove her to collaborate with the organization. The passage of time is pretty hard to pinpoint in the Kingdom Hearts series, with the exception of days, but after that set a definitive timeline for the end of 1 and Chain of Memories, you find that she was actually only alone for about 4 days, maybe? So why would she have these extreme feelings of loneliness? It's because of Ven's influence! Y'all, including Nomura, only want to talk about Ven's influence over Roxas, but not on Naminé. Why else would her birthplace be Castle Oblivion? Why else would she be blocked? And he's the one with over a decade's worth of abandonment issues. And also, if, you've only been alive for 4 days, those 4 days of complete isolation would seem pretty long. Also, I didn't think about this from the start, but not visiting Castle Oblivion, which has so much grief stored in its walls for so many characters, is kind of a major missed opportunity. Especially since we have the one person in the entire universe who could accurately traverse through it in our party. What, y'all afraid of some numbers? Can't hang with a little math? Weak! So, where do we go from here? We've recognized a problem, but what are we gonna do about it? Well, we can hope as much as we can that Nomura takes the care to just let her be the good character that she is. But we are still waiting on that Kairi bomb, so it's gonna drop any minute. Just you wait. And let it be known that as soon as Kairi gets her moment, I will immediately jump ship and rally for Naminé with just as much intensity. It's just the simple principle of the fact that Kairi was around for a little bit longer, and that puts her a little bit higher on my priorities. And my priorities are all just the girls. Listen, game developers, I'm really not that hard to please. If you want my enthusiastic money, just let me play as a female character, and I'm psyched. But why should you even try to get your hopes up for the KH girls when the series has a new but proud history of their female characters having to suck it up and lean into their abusers' redemption arcs without us actually seeing said redemption arc?
I swear to God and Kingdom Hearts, if El Rene and Lawarium get redeemed without addressing even an iota of what they did to Naminé, I'm going to McFreaking lose it.
But you can't think like that. I'm addressing all my grievances in the most specific and methodical way possible, because I want it to get to Nomura and the Square Enix higher-ups that I want this change in this specific way. That's why I crawled out of my cocoon of self-imposed isolation and actually said something on the internet. I saw it happen with Kairi. People called her useless for so long, even though she wasn't, that it got back to the people making it, and they actually brought down the hammer and made her useless. And then she died. Great. Good on you. So please, say something on the internet. Say it for Kairi and all the girls. But say it for Naminé. Because she has gotten near radio silence since she was born. But you can't think like that. I'm not really specific enough, though. What do you want for Naminé? Just more? Yeah, I just want more. Yeah, more.